Hi everybody and welcome to this new lesson. In this lesson we will try to download the IBM QRadar and then make the installation together. You have two options. If you are not partner for IBM, you can download the IBM QRadar Community Edition. So in Google, just search for that, and the first link will take you to the page where you can download the community edition. Also, this page has useful resources where you can check the requirements for the version machine that you need to configure in order to make the installation. As you can see, the requirements are not so big, so only 8 GB RAM or 10 GB if you are considering applications to be installed. Disk space minimum 250 GB, 2 CPU cores or 6 as recommended. So the requirements is not so high. If you are a partner for IBM, so you can go to the IBM Fix Central. So this link will take you to the Fix Central, and then you have to log in. And after you log in, you can go here and search for the IBM Security QRadar. So we will you have to select the last option, the SIEM, or actually you have other QRadar products. So the SIEM is the core of this course. There are other things like the risk manager, the vulnerability manager, the SOAR, formerly it was resilient, and the QRadar packet capture, and the incident forensic. So all of these are other products that you can use separately, or you can use with the QRadar SIEM. So you select the QRadar SIEM, and then you'll get to this page. So you select text and then write ISO, and then continue. You will be taken to the this page which is showing only one result, the ISO. So the last version is the 7.5. So actually when you select this, you will go to another page where you will select the version as Linux, and the version 7.5 and the platform as Linux. So you will come here with this ISO image, which is a full QRadar software running on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay. When you try to download this, IBM may ask you to consider another method for authentication, like a multi-factor authentication. You can choose any option of this. The email option is a good option, where you need to provide another email. So you will get a message like this where you can verify your identity through multi-factor authentication, and then you will be able to download the ISO. So I already downloaded the ISO, and I have here another machine, another server where I have the VMware, the vSphere installed, and I will just do the installation for the ISO. So basically I will create a new virtual machine, and I will install the operating system later. And I'll choose Linux, and here choose Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 64-bit, then press next. Then you can put the virtual machine anywhere. I will name it as QRadar 7.5. okay, this is a folder and this is the virtual machine name. Then next, so select at least like 300 GB for the disk size, and customize your hardware, so put at least 16 GB RAM, and for the processor put 4 is fine. And in my setup here I will select the network bridge, so bridge, I'm bridging, actually this is the IP for the server. I'm bridging this virtual machine with the server. Okay, so I forgot to add the ISO itself. So you come here and select the ISO image. It will be here. Okay, and then we are ready to go. So you can review the specifications of your virtual machine. So you have 16 GB RAM, 4 processors, 300 GB hard disk. We have the pointed VM to the ISO, and we have the bridged. It doesn't matter, depending on your setup, you can choose net mode or whatever that suits your setup. Okay, so I will play the virtual machine. So as soon as you play it, you will start seeing the boot of the setup. So you can see here the VMware is starting, and soon we will get the prompt for the fresh installation. So now we can see here the prompt for the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7.9 installation. We will select the first option there. So the installation started. There's some checking going on. We can press escape to escape this disk check. Now we can see the Red Hat is booting up, and the installation will start. Starting installer, one moment, and now you can see the installation is in progress. Okay, so you can see the language settings, installation source, installation destination, timing settings. All of these steps we will go through it, and the packages are being prepared for installation. Actually, we have like 353 packages are being installed now. So we can see now the 353 packages are installed, or being installed, actually still in progress. Now performing post installation setup tasks. Now we can see configuring installed system, writing network configuration, creating users, configuring add-ons, generating init RAM fs. So after the initial phase, let's say, of the installation, the VM machine will reboot itself again. You can see now And finally, the installation for the Red Hat is done. So let's log in now. So we type root as the username. Now we get the license agreement. So just press escape, press space. You see that the license agreement are loading 79%, 80% until you reach to the end. Now it's asking you to accept the agreement, so just type yes. Now you will get the menu option for the type of the appliance that you will install. The first option is appliance install, so you make the purchase as an appliance. This is not our option here. The option that we will have to do here is the software install, where the hardware was purchased separately. So actually the hardware here is virtual machine, so this is the option. So we will press space. The third option is high availability appliance. So if you are doing HA setup, app host appliance, so you can install another appliance or app host appliance. It's managed appliance, where you can install some application on your setup. So instead of making all-in-one setup and install everything on one server, you are doing distributed setup. So you have one server for the console, one server for the applications, one server for the event processor, flow processor, and so on. So the last option is data gateway appliance, and this if you want to connect to the cloud. So as we said, we will use the second option. So press tab and select next. Press next. So here are the types of the software installed. So all-in-one console, data node. All-in-one console is one server that is doing all the functions that you will see here. So data node is extension, storage extension. So if you want to increase the storage, you install data nodes. So basically the first option is the all-in-one, and the other options is where you want to make a distributed architecture, or even if you want to attach data nodes to the all-in-one setup. Event collector is a server which you can install on remote branches to collect the logs and normalize it and compress and send it to the main data center. Event processor is the if you have a distributed architecture, so you offload the processing to the event processor and have one server for the console and another server for the event processor. You can have a mixed server which is processing events and flows simultaneously. You can have a flow collector. It's similar to the event collector, but it is only processing or collecting, to be more specific, it's collecting the flows and normalize it. Flow processor is for the correlation of flows. QVM processor is for the vulnerability management, the processor for vulnerability manager. The vulnerability manager scanner, the component responsible for scanning your network and for vulnerabilities. The QRM, the risk manager appliance. Okay, so we will select the first option, all-in-one. We press next. So the first option is the normal setup. The second option is recovery. If you have a previous setup but you want to make some recovery for that setup. So we will select the first option, the normal setup, and press next. Now we will set the time. So the time now is 8:30 p.m. So it's 3rd of October 2022. So I will select 20. The time here, actually it's not setting, so we can just put the time server. I can put here any time server, so we can select, for example, NTB Qatar time server, so we can check the internet. NTB Qatar. So we can select here any server, in any NTB server in Qatar. This one, I think we can select this one, Asia. Asia. This one this is a server. We can select. Add the following to your NTB config. Okay, so 0.asia.bool.ntb.org. Can use this 0.asia.ntb. Just double check. asia.bool.ntb.org. Am I correct? asia.bool.ntb.org. Okay, press next, select Asia, and then next, and then Qatar. Okay, next, IB version 4, next, host name. We'll put QRadar, for example, 75.infosec. It has to be a fully qualified domain. So we assume here we have the domain as infosec.com. IP address, I will put it in the same subnet, 192.168.1.222.222. The network mask is 255.255.255.0, and the gateway will be 192.168.1.1. This is my router, and the same for the DNS. There is no public IP. This will not be published. So next. Now the setup will validate the network settings and start to complete the configuration of the appliance. Now it will ask you to enter the new admin password, so you can put a complex password according to this. See, the password must not be longer than 255 characters and not contain spaces or the following characters. So it cannot contain this special characters, but still you have to make it complex as much as you can. Then next, it will ask for the root password also, so you can put a different password or same password as you like, and then finish, and then the installation will continue. As you can see here, the setup is progressing, and the system is being activated with this key, and appliance ID 0, installing all-in-one console with ID 0. Some configuration is going on. Actually, it's the configuration of the network, the settings that we have configured a few minutes ago. So for example, here setting the time server to 0.asia.pool.ntp.org, and here syncing time with the server. So now the time is synced correctly. It's 20:38, which is 8:38 p.m. as you can see here. So the synchronization with this server is going fine, and for sure you have to make the connectivity, internet connectivity, before starting the whole setup. So this step is going successfully. Now you can see restarting PostgreSQL, running change creator password. Actually this because we changed the admin and the root passwords. Now this is one of the core services of QRadar, the host context. So it's being stopped, and next this sequence actually is very important if you want to safely or gracefully stop your QRadar. So you have to stop the host context, and then the HTTP daemon, and then the Tomcat, and then again you can see this message, setup completed. So again the HTTP daemon Tomcat is being stopped, and here the database user password is being updated. So a lot of things are going and taking place. And after this core services being stopped, it will be started again in the reverse order. So we whatever service we end with, it will be started with. So I think here we have there is still one service called host services. I cannot see it now, maybe it is coming. So whatever service we will end stopping, we will start with it to in the sequence to get services back. Here we can see post import actions for vulnerability tables are successfully completed. Resetting of sequences of asset related Q catalog tables is successfully completed. Installing DSM RBMs. So we can see now after the step for installing the DSM RBMs is done. The setup is decompressing the QID map file and then importing this file, and here some synchronization is taking place for the high and low level categories, as we will see in this course what is the categories in QRadar. And now the QID mapping is taking place. So basically each event in QRadar has an ID. So these are the steps taking place for synchronizing the ID mapping between the events and the QID database. So this will take time. So we can see now the steps for synchronizing the events, and the QID mapping is done. Success. Finishing updating the QID map, and modifying PostgreSQL config done. Running change QVM password, QVM key, store password, final setup, updating IB tables, firewall rules. So everything is done automatically for you. You just need to wait. It takes bit amount of time, like maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on the hardware specs of your server. So as we can see now, after the updating of the IP tables firewall rules has taken place, now the services are being restarted. So running restart services. So the syslog ng system d journal d. Okay, so again the console setup is doing stopping services. So this is the sequence I was telling you about. So host context, then http daemon, then tomcat, then host services. So basically you have 4 services. This is the sequence for stopping them. So the sequence for starting them would be in that direction. So host services, then tomcat, then httpd, then the host context. Applying tuning template to enterprise, applying template enterprise. So as we can see now, the services are being restarted. So as we said, the first service will be the last one stopped. So this will be the order. So host services has been restarted, then tomcat. Okay, here checking the tomcat is running and ready before attempting to restarting the httpd, or starting actually the httpd service. Here tomcat not ready, so check again in 10 seconds. So this is a script, it's part of the setup script. So you see, like, there will be 30 attempts where there is a signal trigger to restart or to start the tomcat, and then check that if it's up and running. If it's not, then wait 10 seconds, and then again the signal is sent to start, and this repeats until the tomcat is started successfully. So it can be restarted from the 4th, 5th or 10th even attempt, so don't worry about that. So we can see now in the 4th attempt the tomcat is running and ready. Then the 3rd one will be the http daemon, and then the host context. And now this is the IP that we assigned for the QRadar server. So waiting for the host to be managed host, like 13 or 14 attempts, and finally he found the IP that we have assigned as a managed host, found in the managed host table after 25 seconds. So we are very close to the completion of this setup. So finally we can see configuration of host QRadar 75 as a console completed. So we will wait until we see the QRadar version 7.5 server has been installed successfully. Some message like the end of text, let's say, will come at the end, and the prompt will be coming as well. So we are very close. Just this we have to wait for this final end message. Actually, the last thing. So finally we can see the line that we were looking for. This server has QRadar 7.5.0 general availability, build this number, installed on Monday, October. So now we are ready to connect to the QRadar server. So you have to go to HTTPS, the IP 192, the IP that we have configured. So we are ready to go. Log in with the admin password that we have set during the installation. Now we are logging, and you should now getting the license agreement. This is the first time only. You log in after the installation, you press accept, and then you will be redirected to the main page, where you will get a pop-up message telling you that this appliance is running a temporary license that will expire after around 30 days or 35 days to be exact. So since we installed it today, 3rd of October, so it will expire like 7th of November. So it's a good time, like 35 days or 1 month is good time to practice and learn about QRadar. The browser is telling you that the QRadar is willing to send you notifications about the device, the performance of the device. So would you like to allow this or not? I prefer that you allow it, because the notifications are important for you to understand what's going on. For example, if there is a performance degradation, if there is an event that is received but not recognized by the QRadar, you will get to know about this through the notifications. Here there is a new feature in the 7.5, which is the new QRadar assistant. It's very nice. We will come across it during this course. For now I will dismiss it. So as you can see, this is the interface. Everything is empty because we don't have anything configured. That's it for the installation. So starting from the next videos, we will navigate through the interface to understand the menus, the all about the interface, and subsequently we will start to inject data into QRadar and start to navigate all the different features and options. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.